guys, welcome to the second video in this video series. We are getting into the good stuff, so I'm really glad you are here. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to create a profit plan for your blog. This is really exciting because this is really where the rubber meets the road, where we're going to talk about how to figure out exactly how your particular blog will make money. Okay, let's dive in. The first thing you need to do if you're starting a blog and you don't have one yet is to choose a niche. Your niche is the topic that you write about on your blog. Now, the most important thing to keep in mind here is that you want to choose one niche that solves one problem. So let's go back to the yoga example. Now, in this one, your niche would be yoga, but the problem you're going to solve could be a number of different things. Let's say, for example, that your target audience is women who've just had a baby who are looking to get back in shape. If that is your target audience, the problem you are trying to solve might be how to help women who have just had a baby lose weight and get back into shape using yoga. So that is the one niche that solves the one exact problem. This is a really important thing to keep in mind because it makes such a difference when it comes to monetizing your blog. You know, I talk to a lot of new bloggers and inexperienced bloggers who have written about a wide variety of things. And they come to me and they say, you know, why is my blog not making money? Or why does my audience not seem very interested? And so much of the time it's because they have written about so many different topics that they're having trouble solving a problem for one particular type of audience. And really, if you think about it, you guys, at the end of the day, that's what business is. People pay us to solve a problem for them. That's the only reason we go online looking for help and then pay for that help. So I want you to choose one niche that you like and figure out what the main problem you are going to solve is in that niche. And that's what you'll write your blog on. Okay, step 2, start brainstorming topics you love talking about. So I want you to get out the worksheet that I have created with this video and go ahead and print it out and let's get to filling it out. This is an awesome worksheet. I think it's going to really help you get through this video. So the first thing I want you to do is brainstorm a ton of different things that you love talking about. You know, you can ask yourself, what do my friends and I chat about? Or what Facebook groups am I a part of? Or what types of documentaries do I like watching? Or, you know, what experiences, either good or bad, have kind of shaped who I am today? These are all some great questions that will help you figure out what you enjoy. Okay, step 3, weed out the too broad and the too narrow topics. So I know I said that you can make a living blogging on almost anything, and the almost is the clincher. Sometimes there are topics that are either too broad or too narrow for one person to really cover. Let's take the topic of fitness, for example. If you want to create a blog on just fitness these days, it is not going to go very far. Let me tell you, there are companies who have created blogs that have entire publishing teams creating content around super broad topics like fitness. Because if you think about it, fitness is a super broad topic. There are so many different types of you know, ways to go about becoming fit. There's swimming and Tai Chi and running and CrossFit and yoga and Pilates, tons of different things. It's a huge niche. So that is too big. You've really got to narrow it down if you want to be able to compete in the blogosphere. So that's an important one. And then there is the topic of topics that are too narrow. So I will say it is way more common for new bloggers to try to pick a topic that is too broad than too narrow. Very few new bloggers go for a too narrow topic. But I do want you to keep in mind that sometimes there are topics that are really too narrow, not enough people interested in it to actually make a living from. So how do you know if your topic is too narrow? Well, the first thing I would do is go to Google and see how many search results come up. typically, if less than 1 million search results come up total, that's a pretty good indicator that there just really aren't enough people interested in that topic. There aren't enough people writing about that topic. So one other thing I'll say about this is that it's actually a good thing if you find competition in your space. So let's say you're thinking about starting a yoga blog and you don't know if that's a good idea or not. So you go online and you start Googling yoga, and you come up with a list of blogs, and then you go, oh my gosh, all these other people are already writing about yoga. Maybe there's no room for me. Actually, that is a total myth. You actually want there to be competition in your space. Why? Because competition means there is something to be gained. There is an audience out there who is willing to pay for your help when you see other people writing about similar things. So don't be scared off if you have competition. It is a good thing. Okay, so hopefully now you have a short list of topics that you really are interested in and know a bit about. The next step is to flesh out each of these topics with subtopics. So grab your worksheet and start writing down any other topics you can think of that are related to your main topic. So, for example, let's say that you're considering starting a personal finance blog. What are some subtopics related to personal finance? There's a ton of them. Getting out of debt, student loans, car loans, credit cards, emergency funds, paying for college. All of these things are subtopics of the personal finance niche. So I want you to go through each of your niches that you are still considering and flesh them out with some subtopics so you can get an idea of what you would talk about in your blog posts or videos or podcast or whichever you're starting. Step 5 is to figure out which of your topics your readers most want to hear more about, and then keep writing about that. You guys, this is a big secret of successful bloggers. Successful bloggers write about what their readers want to hear more than what they feel like writing about. So when you start putting out posts and start talking with your readers, either through email or through the comments or anything like that, and you start listening to their questions and listening to what things they want to hear more about, keep writing about that, because the more that you serve them and help them, the more they are going to like you and trust you and eventually want to buy from you. Okay, the next step. Who is your audience? This is the section where we decide exactly which audience you are going to serve. So I want you to take a minute, pause this video if you need to, and ask yourself, what are the demographics of my audience? How old are they? Are they men or women? Where do they live? How much money do they make? All of these sorts of things play an integral part in making sure that when you write, it speaks directly to your ideal reader. This is super important because when people come to your blog, they want to feel heard. They want to feel like you understand them and you're going to be able to help them. Because let's face it, if you don't understand who they are and what they need, you won't be able to help them, and they want help with their problem. So take a minute to answer these questions and then answer this one. What are their interests? What books and movies do they like? What shows do they watch? What classes do they go to? What hobbies do they do on the weekend? These are really important pieces to also figure out because they shape who we are as a human outside of just your blog topic. And third, what is their big problem that your blog will help them with? This is probably the ultimate question. Once you've figured out exactly who your ideal reader is, you want to ask yourself, what is their problem and how can I solve it? So there's a number of ways you can go about doing this. One thing I would recommend is doing a little bit of market research. For example, if you go into Facebook groups that are related, that are created for the person you are trying to serve, it is pretty easy to look through there and see what types of questions get asked over and over and over. So if you're creating a yoga blog for moms, Go into some yoga for moms Facebook groups and yoga for women Facebook groups and just see what these types of people are asking over and over. What is the big problem that they really need help with that you can solve? Okay, this is the exciting part. Here's where we figure out what you'll sell. I hope you have your worksheet ready because you're going to need it. Okay, so on the left here, I've shown you exactly the most common methods that people use to monetize their blog. So, a few tips for success. Start with affiliate marketing or offering services. Some of the monetization methods on this list are a little bit more complicated than others. For example, you probably don't want to start out by trying to create and manufacture and all that sort of thing, source and manufacture physical products for your blog. That is a huge undertaking, and I really recommend that you save that for later on, unless you happen to have those products already on hand. So, I recommend starting with either affiliate marketing or offering services. And you'll see on your worksheet that there is a section for each of these where you can start writing down ideas for each one. So for affiliate marketing, I recommend asking yourself, what products do I use and love that are related to my blog that I could recommend to my readers? And for services, when you do your market research in Facebook groups and Reddit and places like that, figure out what types of services could you offer online that would help meet the needs of your reader. Is that one-on-one coaching or group coaching or meal planning or anything like that? What type of digital services can you offer them that will help? Okay, like I said, the big exception here is if you are already an existing business and you have products already created to sell, then you can totally skip ahead and start selling those on your website now. But I do recommend, if you haven't created any physical products yet, to leave that for later on. Manufacturing is a whole nother ballgame. Okay, step number 2, choose 2 more of these monetization methods to focus on after you master the first one. So the key here is that you really want to master one monetization method at a time. You do not want to go in on 3 or 4 or 5 of them all at once and try to dabble in each one a little bit here and there. No. You want to commit yourself to one monetization method and really start getting it figured out before you start implementing any others. Okay, and then the last step here is to plan out your first year-ish right now. So I want you to grab your worksheet and create a rough timeline of what products you are going to create and when. So for example, we're going to stick with this yoga example here. You're creating a yoga blog. The first thing maybe you start focusing on is affiliate marketing. So you make a whole list of products that are related to yoga. So maybe you've got a yoga mat, you've got one of those exercise balls, you've got a couple of supplements that are great for people who are taking yoga, and you've got some athletic wear. These are all products that you use and love, and you want to recommend them to your readers. So you'll focus for a few months on that, and once you figure out kind of the ins and out of that, maybe then you go on to creating your own product. So maybe you decide to create an ebook, or you decide to create an online course that teaches women how to get in shape postpartum using yoga. And then after that, maybe you plan out to write a book or offer group coaching or do anything along those lines. I want you to kind of lay out the next year or two in advance so you always know what you'll be working on. Okay, let's review. Number 1, choose a niche that you are interested in, you want to teach, and that others are interested in too. Remember, You do not have to be crazy passionate about your topic to do really well with it. I know bloggers love to throw out that word passionate and that you need to be so passionate about your blog and all these things, but the reality is that we are human. Most of us are not crazy, like eat, sleep, breathe passionate about very many topics. So don't worry, you do not have to be crazy passionate and you do not have to be an absolute expert either. If you are interested in a topic and you are willing to learn more and put in the work, that is good enough. Okay, number two, think about exactly who the perfect reader for your blog is and then write only to her or him, whoever it is. But the key here is that you really identify who this person is, and then in your writing, you speak to them as if you were having a verbal one-on-one conversation at a cocktail party. It should feel very connected and even a little bit intimate. You should really know who that person is and how you can serve them. Okay, and number three, plan your monetization process for the next year or so that you always know what you are working on. This is super important. You want to stay focused when you're creating your blog and creating your different products and things for sale. So, this will really help you in the long run make sure that you turn a good profit and make a good living from your blog. Okay, you guys, I hope you found this video useful. I will see you tomorrow for video number 3. We are going to be covering the marketing process that is going to help you leverage your blog and sell the products that you have for sale over and over and over so that you can create a fully functional, well-rounded business for the long term. I'm super excited to share that information with you, so please don't miss it.